I was asked the other day if there was something about Bob Barker that no one knows. And I thought, and I finally admitted probably the fact that he's really pretty dull. My dream as a little boy was to pitch for the St. Louis Cardinals, but I didn't because of a total lack of talent. Well, I got my first job in radio, when I was still in college. My wife and I had been married. I'd been a naval aviator, and when I got my wings, we got married. I wrote local news and I did a sportscast. But finally, I did what I'm doing right now. I did an audience participation show. And my wife heard that. She said, Barker, that's what you should do. You did that better than you've ever done anything else. She didn't say I was good. She said I did it better than I'd ever done anything else. Well, I was born married. We had our first date November 17th, 1939. We were in high school, and we went to hear Ella Fitzgerald. We fell in love. We eventually ended up out here in California, and she produced my radio shows. One of the most fortunate things in my life was the fact that Ralph Edwards came into my life. He had sold Truth or Consequences as a daytime show on NBC. He heard me doing my audience participation radio show. He liked my work, called me, and that he would like to talk about me becoming the host of the show. He said, when would it be convenient for you to meet with me? I said, Mr. Edwards, I can be over there in 15 minutes. I'm on my way.
Remember this name. You're going to be hearing a lot about him. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bob Barker.
And then on December 21st, 1956, at 5 minutes past 12 noon, Ralph Edwards called me, and he told me that I was to be the host of Truth or Consequences.
Hiya, kid. Limber? All set. Let's see. Yep, he's ready. Relax.
We are going to have a sack race.
You step into this tire, pull it up, you step into this tire, and go on down the line.
You'll put just one pancake on your pancake turner. You'll flip it over this crossbar here, one pancake at a time, just like that.
Move popcorn into the container in the time allotted. Oh, there's one thing. You can't use anything but your teeth to carry it with.
All right, now we have the racers all lined up here at the starting line.
I hope I win that.
Here we go. On your marks. Get set. Go. Go.
Go. Start right now. Into the tire. Come on. Hurry up. Yep.
Go. Look at her. Go.
Take it over there. Dump it into the container. Come on.
Picking up the plate with two hands, only one hand. Go on around there. Come on, pass him up. Come on, Mr. Solomon has been lapped. Come on. Here you go.
We did Truth or Consequences live. We did it first from the NBC studio at Sunset and Vine. Then we did it at the old El Capitan Theater. Eventually, we were one of the first shows to go to color, at which time we went out to Burbank.
Well, until next time, this is Bob Barker saying, why don't I get more money? Goodbye, everybody.
Mark Goodson had seen me on Truth or Consequences, and he liked my work. This was to be a network show, The Price is Right. And he told me he'd like to have me host it. I met with him, and he told me what he had planned. And he said, what do you think, Bob? And I said, I think it'll work. He said, I do too. I think we'll get a long run out of this.
And now here's the star of the new Price is Right, Bob Barker.
The show was a hit from day one. 35 years ago, it was a hit with people of all ages.
274, 1250, 9,000.
you might win this.
It's a sand buggy. A chaise lounger.
A snowmobile. The college kids do love The Price is Right. It has become a cult thing. Many of them are splendid contestants, but beyond that, they give such energy to the studio. I love it. Both Dorothy Jo and I had always loved animals. As children, we loved animals. However, she was ahead of her time. She stopped wearing fur coats. She stopped wearing leather, became a vegetarian.
Bob Barker.
I was doing the Miss USA and the Miss Universe pageants, and both of them awarded fur coats as prizes. I talked with the producers and tried to dissuade them, and finally, in 1987, they assured me that next year, 1988, there would be no fur coats. And so I went to Albuquerque, New Mexico, to do the Miss USA pageant. I was appalled to learn that the swimsuit contestants were going to make their entrances wearing fur coats over their swimsuits. So I went to the producer and I said I could not be on the stage with these young women in fur coats because I had gone all over the country speaking out against fur. And the best thing that could possibly happen happened. It leaked to the press. It became front page news across the country.
Our aim is to make every man or woman who wears a fur coat in public embarrassed for having done so. And to have fur coats on a show like this would have been a tragedy.
They called this the Fur Flap, and it was great publicity for the anti-fur campaign. The next year, the pageants decided they were not going to give up the furs. And so I resigned from both shows, and that was Fur Flap 2, and we got more publicity. Fur sales began to go down then, and they have continued to go down, I might add.
Fur is murder. Don't wear fur.
I've been asked why I've chosen to retire right now. In December of last year, I became 83 years old, and I want to retire while I'm still young. I feel humble. I really do. I count my blessings to think that this has happened to me. To have allowed me to come into their homes for 50 years. I am so grateful, and I say so at every opportunity.
Now, folks, I want to thank you very, very much for inviting me into your homes for the last 50 years. I am deeply grateful. And please remember, help control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody.